In this lesson, we're going to get a brief introduction to complex numbers. We're really just going to learn what the imaginary number is, and we're not going to do any actual arithmetic with them, but when we solve quadratic equations, we'll need to know how to handle a little bit about complex numbers, so we're just going to get the basics here. We used to look at something like square root of -1 and say this is not a real number. But now we're going to update that a little bit, and we're going to say that the square root of -1 is I. And I stands for the imaginary number. It's the square root of -1. It's not really imaginary, it's just intangible. It's not something you can see and touch, but it does have an application. Anytime you need to do arithmetic that involves a size of, say, like a force or something, and also a direction, it's the I that lets you involve the direction. So you'll need it when you solve quadratic equations. If you take physics, you'll definitely see it in physics. If you learn anything about electricity, you'll see it when you do algebra on like electric currents and things like that. So let's talk about how to simplify the square root of -25. Well, we still do the 25 the same way. The square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of the negative is I. And that's really as complicated as we're going to get here. Let's do another example. Square root of -12. Well, we think of 12 as 4 times 3. So the square root of 4 is 2. And the square root of the negative is I, and the 3 is still under the radical. Here's square root of -90. Okay, think of 90 as 9 times 10. Then the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of the negative is I, and the 10 is still under the radical. And last one, here's square root of -30. Of course, 30 cannot be broken down because it's 3 times 10, 5 times 6. It doesn't contain any perfect squares as factors. So all we can do is say the square root of the negative is I, and the 30 stays under the radical. And so really this is the extent of what we're going to need to do with the imaginary number in this class.